Hello and welcome back to the NBA DFS Slate Breakdown for Thursday, January 23rd. We're back. We're breaking it down. We got a nice 8-game slate on tap today, and I'm excited to get in it. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann at FlatTyler83 on your DFS sites and Twitter. Now, let's dive in. Before we do, come join us at LionStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do, all the props, all the DFS. You get it all for one low price. Now, let's just jump in this beautiful slate we have on a wonderful Thursday afternoon. All right, we got James Harden, 23% owned. He is the highest owned point guard right now on the slate. It's versus Washington. It is also the late game, so you got the late game hammer aspect. We got a 5-star alert score. Harden obviously looks great. The one thing, it is a game that Leonard is going to play, so that might take a little usage away from him, but regardless, Leonard's only going to be out there for a little bit, 24 minutes-ish. That's what he's been playing. And Harden's going to play, 34, 35, 36 if the game stays close, and it's in a great spot versus Washington. I don't mind some Harden. Jamal Murray, 7,800, 22% owned. Dude has been a bucket lately. He's had a couple pretty big games. The only issue for me with Jamal Murray at this point with Russell Westbrook in the starting lineup is he is way more volatile. He has these huge ceiling games, but also gets you 29, 24, low 20s, something like that. So if you're playing something like cash, I would be totally off of him. If you're playing a GPP, I don't mind having a little bit. But with his volatility and how many other guys in that starting lineup can produce against a Kings team, I would rather have a little less Murray than everybody's the field is right now. Now, obviously a ton can change throughout the day as more value opens up and then Murray's ownership drops, and I don't mind him if he's lower owned and having a little bit more, but I don't want to match the field at these levels. I think that's just a little bit too much Jamal Murray. Dennis Schroeder, 21% owned. That's a no for me, dude. Pretty much he has been team cardio ever since joining the Warriors. I mean, we have a 35 and a 34 from him earlier this month, but I just can't do Schroeder as a Warrior. He's not consistent enough and doesn't have the ceiling. Maybe that's going to change one day, but this system just isn't working for him. Healed, I doubt is going to start. I think some starters are going to be back. If he starts, he becomes interesting again. But minutes are just going to be a problem with him a lot. Russell Westbrook, 6,900. I don't mind pivoting to Westbrook over Murray there. And then our point guard pivots. Carlton Carrington, 4,400. He hasn't shown a lot. At least he's starting. 28. You don't need a whole lot out of a 4,400 salary, and the potential for 30 is there. That is what you really want to do. You want to get 30 plus out of that 4,400 guy, and he's in an okay spot in a game where I think he can do it with a 225 total. So I don't mind him. Steph Curry, 8,800. 228 point total. Should be a close game. It is back-to-back nights, so maybe they're a little cautious with his minutes, but I would expect him playing 34. There's still no Green, no Kuminga, and more injury news could happen, throughout this day as we don't have their full injury report after since the game yesterday, but he has been good. He's been consistent in that mid 40s, and we know there is that 50, 60 point ceiling if he gets rolling. So I'm definitely a little interested in Steph, but also not going overboard. Tyler Hero, 7,900, 5.1x value on our projections versus the Bucks, who's actually a pretty good spot for point guards to target. I don't mind going to some Hero with no Jimmy Butler. A reminder, Jimmy Butler is suspended again for 2 games. So with him out, I like him. Ayo versus the Golden State Warriors. Ayo should slide back into the starting lineup. Now, he was downgraded from questionable to out. Downgraded to questionable today. So we do have to worry a little bit about if he's going to be in or out. He was out on the last game on the 20th. So there is some worry there if he's going to play. But we already have Kobe White, who is doubtful. And that's the big reason I like this. If Ayo's out also, Levine, Giddey both look a lot better. Even Lonzo may pick up a little bit extra here. So I do like Ayo, but we got to watch to make sure he's playing. I think he's in a good spot with potential for extra minutes with no Kobe White. Davion Mitchell, 4,200 versus the Atlanta Hawks. Look, Davion is solid defensively. He's going to be on Trey, and I think he sees decent minutes. He's been 27, 26, 30, and 25 in this little stint of him starting again. I think he's going to be a starter again, and mid-20s with a chance of 30s is absolutely possible. In the beginning of the year, when he got that range of starts, he was able to give a couple 30-plus point performances. Now, for him, he's got to get it defensively. And lucky for him, the point guards versus Atlanta are giving up a little bit as far as the steals and blocks category. So I think there's some ceiling in Davion that maybe the field isn't quite catching on to right now. Now, let's get over to point guard on DraftKings. We got Westbrook, Jamal Murray. We covered them both a little bit. Drew Holiday, 4,700 for Drew Holiday is wild. It's a good spot versus the Lakers. I don't mind going there. He's gonna play a little bit. Very good chance for 6x or 5x, 6x. Outside chance for on top of that. But he is a guy that can go for 10x in this spot at 4,700. So I don't mind having some Drew. On to shooting guard on FanDuel. Quentin Grimes, 4,800, 26% owned. There's no Klay Thompson and no Najee Marshall. He played 36 minutes last night in this situation. The minutes are going to be there. It's just, does he produce? I think, he's been 0.88 fantasy point per minute as a starter this season. I don't mind going there. Just, you got to temper expectations against a very, very good Oklahoma City Thunder team. The chances of a blowout are absolutely there, and hard to really know what his minutes may be in a blowout. Maybe he still gets the run because they're so hurt. Maybe he doesn't. I don't mind sprinkling in some Grimes, though. Jaime Jaquez, 5,300, 24% owned. He is going to be a starter again, likely playing, mid to high 20 minutes. And we've seen a ceiling out of him. So at 5,300, it's absolutely not out of the question for him to be in play here. I don't mind some. I'm going to have some. Not going to go particularly hard on him, though. And Dort and Grady Dick are the only ones we have not talked about. So let's talk about this Dort Dick. Lou Dort, he does get a bump up without Holmgren and Hartenstein. He's playing bigger minutes without those guys. And from a fantasy point per minute guy, he goes from like a 0.7 up to like 0.8, and then it's a decent matchup. So I don't mind the spot for Dort. I'm going to take some chances if he's low owned. Now, this is one of those spots where if more value opens up, I guarantee I get a lot less Lou Dort. Grady Dick, 4,700, 5% owned. I might have a lot of Grady Dick. So it's just in a very, very good spot. It's the best spot for any shooting guard on this slate. 28th overall with the Atlanta Hawks. Super up-tempo spot. The pace for the Hawks, 105.3. 4.3 pace difference is just very, very big. And then you got Noah Emmanuel quickly. And when that happens, his usage just goes up a little bit and he's needed a little bit more. So I'm definitely going to have some Grady Dick. Now, he has just this run of games where he has not got there. But we do know the chances of a 30 is there. And that's why I'm going there. I do think he can get mid 30s in this matchup. And I'm hopeful for, that kind of ceiling type outcome for him. Shooting guard on DraftKings. Murray, Grimes, Drew, Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, 6,900. A little bit interest in him there. There's a big enough ceiling. The prices come down that I don't mind going back there. He can absolutely get you 40. So I'm fine. It is a tough matchup versus the Clippers, though. Small forward on FanDuel. We got Andrew Wiggins, 6,300. He's going to play big time minutes. His fantasy point per minute is up to, pretty much 1, and he's in a really good spot. I think it makes a lot of sense to want to go there. I don't mind some Wiggins, especially without Green and Kuminga. His minutes are just solid, and you can expect 34, 35 probably. Grimes, we talked about. Yaquez, we talked about. Scotty Barnes, 9,300. Huge pace up spot. I like this game a lot. I don't mind having a lot of this game, and Scotty Barnes is one of them that I'm fine with getting. He has that 60-point ceiling, and he has a ton of games close to 50 at 9,300. I don't mind that. When you are priced at 9K or above, I don't necessarily need a 6X from you. I just need a very high score. If he gets 50 at 9,300, I'm totally fine with that. DeAndre Hunter, 5,600. He has got 32, 30, and 30 minutes the last 3 games. This team is still injured a little bit, and I think his minutes are going to be very solid once again. 0.98 fantasy point per minute in his last 20 starts is solid, and then you throw in the fact that it's a very good matchup, and I love the spot for DeAndre Hunter. I think he's going a little under-owned. Then RJ Barrett, like I said, I like Toronto. Now, I'm not going to play Mitchell, Dick, Barnes, Barrett all together. That's not happening. I don't mind 2 or 3 of those guys, but I'm not going over 3 of these Toronto Raptors. So, and if I do get 3, I'll probably want to hawk there because that game is likely, to really get going scoring wise. But I think most likely I'll have 2 of those 4 max, and in a rare situation, maybe a couple 3. But RJ Barrett is in a great spot. Fantasy point per minute wise, 1.2 on the season. No quickly gives him a little bump. Being the matchup versus the Hawks gives him a little bump. I'm going to get some RJ Barrett for sure. Small forward on DK, Oliver Maxine Prosper. He started last game, did absolutely nothing, played 25 minutes, got you 12. It's not going to get it done. He is minimum price, though. I don't mind having some at this price, or pretty much minimum price, but not a whole lot of upside in that. Wiggins, Grimes, Jaquez, we talked about. Power forward on FanDuel, Onyeka Okongwu. All right, I talked about in the prop show. There's no Clint Capella. I think from a minutes perspective, the likelihood of him getting big minutes is there. I think he's going to get 30 plus. We have him at 28.5 right now, and he looks good. If you put him at 32, he's going to look amazing. Right now, I'm getting a lot of him in this matchup versus Toronto, and I don't mind it. I'm going to keep going. It's chalky, but who cares? Wiggins, also chalky, but I'm going to have some. Oliver, Maxine, that's where I can fade a little bit. We talked about Barnes, Hunter, Barrett, Trace Jackson Davis. He did not start yesterday, but did start the second half. I expect him to start this game. There is a chance that he doesn't because it's going against Vucevic and they want Looney to match up with him. But I think, and he didn't start against him at all last year, but that was last year. I think most likely he's still going to start for them. And if he does, he's going to play 24, 26 minutes, something like that. And there's a very high upside in this matchup, and he's somebody that can go for 40. So I don't mind some TJD. I'm not going to go super hard on him, but I do like him. Power forward on DraftKings, we have talked about them all, so we will just move on right over to center spot on FanDuel. Oneka Kongwu, Khalil Ware, 6,100 from Miami. So we got to make sure he is starting. As a starter, he played 39 minutes last game. He played 34 coming off the bench the other day, and a few games ago, 33. So his minutes are hard to trust right now, but he has been a very solid player. Solid point per minute, fantasy producer. He's in a decent matchup versus the Bucks. I don't mind getting some here. My issue is his minutes are going to be volatile, and right now he's going high owned. So I think there is a kind of a decision point here. Do you think he's going to get those big minutes? If he starts, I'm inclined to think he plays a decent amount. If he does not start, then who knows what happens? And if his ownership still stays very high, then it's probably a good spot to jump off the bandwagon. So do with that information what you will, and we'll figure it out. Daniel Gafford, 7,600. I do think his price is getting up there a bit where I don't necessarily have to go there. This matchup versus OKC is the one 3 games ago that in 20 minutes he almost fouled out. So there is definite worry with foul problems. Now, if he can stay clean of fouls, those big time minutes are going to be there again. 33, 34, and 30 in the last 3 of 4 without some big men. So you're looking at 34 minutes if he can stay, clean and not foul. We got no Lively, no Powell again. It's definitely a decent spot. A little bit of interest, but obviously some risk comes with it. And then pivot-wise, I got nothing. Right now I'm getting a lot of Okongwu and Ware, as I am also thinking he is starting. But if that changes, then I'm probably going to get a lot more Vooch. Vooch is probably the next one that would jump in there as far as a pivot for me. He's been playing well. He's done well versus the Warriors in the past. And the injuries to their team just means more usage for him. And center on DraftKings. Can never go wrong with Jokic. 12.2K. Guy is an absolute beast. That's all you really need to know. 5,600 for Okungwa is way too cheap on DraftKings. Then there's Gafford and Ware. Don't mind any of them. That'll do it for today, guys. Hope you all have a great one. Tomorrow there's only 3 games, so no DFS show, but I will be back next week. Wish you guys the best. Good luck. Let's make some money, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.